You hear the sound of static, and a voice breaks through, low, shaking, almost whispering. Massacre, massacre. The voice fades. A long silence. Then a deep, distorted scream cuts through your speakers, followed by the cold. Words of the narrator: when a human colony dies without a trace, humanity sends scouts. But in the ashes of Vega Prime, something is still watching. First 30 seconds full hook, the camera moves through deep space. Stars are cold pinpricks. A lonely distress beacon pulses once every few seconds, a dull, ghostly sound. The signal is broken, full of static, but one word cuts through every loop: massacre. We move past the wreckage of a civilian freighter. Its hull is blackened, its windows shattered. Inside, bodies float in zero gravity, frozen in silence, and far ahead. The ruined planet Vega Prime turns slowly in the dark. Cities melted into twisted shapes. Orbit littered with broken satellites and drifting corpses. No life, no movement, no escape ships. The Dauntless, a sleek Terran scout ship, drops out of hyperspace, its hull gleaming in the starlight. Inside, the crew is tense. Commander Elias Rourke leans forward in his chair. "Helm, bring us in. Sensors too full. I want every inch of that planet scanned." The pilot swallows hard. "Aye, sir." Bringing us in. The Dauntless glides toward Vega Prime. From space, the planet looks dead. No blue oceans, no green continents, only scorched wastelands and deep black scars. Picking up high radiation pockets, the science officer reports. Cities vaporized by something. No sign of survivors? No functioning comms network, sir. This wasn't an accident. Commander Rourke's jaw tightens. "I want to know who did this, and why." They descend lower. The main city of Vega Prime, New Alexandria, sprawls beneath them in ruin. Towers once full of light are now twisted piles of glass and steel. Roads are nothing but craters. The ocean shore is boiled away to black rock. The Dauntless hovers over the city center. Scanning beams sweep the ground, sir. "I'm detecting something," the science officer says slowly. Buried under the rubble of the government archives. We get it out? Yes, it's small. A data core, shielded. Whoever buried it wanted it found. Rourke's voice is low. "Prep a retrieval drone. Bring it aboard now." Minutes later, the core sits on the analysis table in the ship's lab. It's dented, scorched, but intact. The AI cracks the encryption in seconds. A holographic recording flickers to life. The image is shaky, handheld. A man's face, pale, sweaty, eyes wide with terror. "They're coming for all of us," he says, voice trembling. They're not like anything we've seen. They take your body, your voice, then they static." The recording cuts off. The lab falls silent. Even the hum of the ship feels too loud. Rourke exhales slowly. "Transmit that to High Command. All channels. Secure priority." Back on Earth, the message is played before the Terran High Command. In the war room, admirals and generals stand in tense silence. The president's face is grim. "We don't know who they are. We don't know where they came from. But they killed 32 million people in less than a day. They burned our world, and they left no witnesses." She looks around the table. "I will not let humanity be hunted. We will answer with everything we have." The orders go out across human space. Fleets are mobilized. Shipyards begin working around the clock. For the first time in decades, the Terran Union prepares for total war. Back on the Dauntless, the crew begins final sweeps of the ruins before returning to Earth. Sensors ping softly in the background. The pilot frowns. Sir, I've got something." Rourke looks up. "What is it?" "I'm picking up faint energy signatures, but they're not from the surface." The science officer leans over his console. "They're in orbit, right where we came in." Rourke's eyes narrow. "Me?" The sensor display shifts, showing faint flickering shapes in the debris field above Vega Prime. At first they look like wreckage, but then one of them moves. Another changes position, and another. Turns slowly, its jagged outline barely visible. The science officer's voice is almost a whisper. "Sir, those aren't asteroids. Those are ships, and they're cloaked." Rourke stares at the display. "How many?" A long pause. Three alien warships, sitting in the debris watching us. The comms officer's hands shake. They know we see them now. On the view screen, the nearest shape suddenly blooms with faint red lights, lines crawling across its surface like veins. The others do the same. Rourke's voice is cold. "Now, get us out of here now." The engines roar to life. Dauntless banks hard, pulling away from the planet. Behind them, the alien warships begin to move. Silent, predatory, following, and, as the Dauntless jumps to hyperspace, the alien ships vanish back into the debris, like sharks returning to the deep. The narrator's voice is sharp, urgent. 3 alien ships, cloaked, watching the Dauntless. And now, they're moving. The sound of rising alarms, metal groans. A deep alien hum echoes, like something alive inside the void. First, 30 seconds full hook, the camera cuts to the Dauntless's bridge. Red warning lights flash. The crew scrambles at their stations. "Contact!" the comms officer shouts, a broken cloak vectoring straight for us. Through the view screen, 3 massive shapes drift from the debris. They are unlike anything human eyes have seen. Their hulls are jagged, almost grown rather than built, covered in faint red patterns that pulse like veins. They move with slow, precise grace. Like predators testing their prey, the Dauntless's engines flare to full. Commander Rourke grips the edge of his console, helm maximum burn, plot a hyperspace jump. The pilot's hands fly across the controls. "Jamming our navlocks, sir?" "We can't plot a jump yet." Rourke's voice drops to a growl, and we fight our way clear. The alien ships accelerate, no visible thrusters, just a sudden, impossible burst of speed. Their hulls shimmer, bending light around them as if space itself is peeling away. The weapons officer locks human railguns on the nearest target. Range in 15 seconds. Rourke doesn't wait. Fire. The Dauntless's railguns roar, hurling hypervelocity slugs across the void. The rounds slam into the alien hull and vanish. No sparks, no explosions, just nothing. The science officer stares at his readings. They're absorbing the impacts. "Sir, I think their hull is alive." One alien ship suddenly flares with bright red light, and a spear of pure energy lashes out, slicing through space where the Dauntless had been a heartbeat before. Blast clips an old civilian freighter drifting nearby. The ship vaporizes instantly. The pilot's voice is tight with fear. They're toying with us. Rourke makes a decision. All power to engines. "Get us into the asteroid field." As the Dauntless dives into a dense cluster of shattered rock. Chunks of ice and metal spin past the hull. Alien ships follow, silent, gliding between asteroids with unnatural precision. A massive rock slams into the alien-led ship. Instead of breaking apart, the rock is shredded into dust by some invisible field around the vessel. They're not even slowing down. The pilot mutters. Inside the Dauntless, the AI runs combat simulations. Probability of survival and direct engagement, 0.3%.
Right.
Rourke ignores it. He knows there's only one way out, and it's not by fighting. "Nav, as soon as we're clear of the jamming field, plot the jump." The science officer glances at his readings.
Almost there.
Another 30 seconds. One alien ship moves ahead of the others, flanking the Dauntless. It turns slowly to bring its forward array into line. The red lines across its hull brighten, crawling like fire through veins. The weapons officer yells, "Incoming." Dauntless rolls hard, the alien beams slicing past them, but the shockwave slams them into a spinning asteroid. Hull plating screeches. Warning lights flare across the bridge, shields down to 40%. The weapons officer shouts. The comms officer's console lights up. "I'm getting a signal from them." Rourke turns sharply. "They're talking to us?" The crew stares at the main screen. The static clears. A single image appears. Human face. Pale. Eyes wide. Mouth twisted into a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. It speaks in perfect English. You should not have come here. The science officer's face goes pale. That's Commander Holden. He was on Vega Prime. He's dead. The smiling face tilts its head. We are many. We are watching. We will take what is yours. The image flickers, and the alien ships accelerate. Jump coordinates ready, the pilot calls. Rourke slams a hand on the armrest. Gauge. The Dauntless's engines surge. Space stretches, bends. And then the stars snap back into place. They're gone. Silence fills the bridge. The crew stares at each other, breathless. Nobody speaks for several seconds. Rourke finally breaks the silence. They let us go. The weapons officer shakes his head. No, they didn't need to kill us. Not yet. The science officer swallows. They wanted us to see them. Bring the warning home. Rourke looks at the frozen image of Commander Holden on the display. The alien mimicry. The dead man's voice. His hands curl into fists to transmit everything to high command. Every scan, every reading, and tell them. The enemy has a face. Hours later, deep in the war room on Earth, the images play on a massive screen. Generals, admirals, and political leaders sit in silence. The mimic's voice fills the room. We will take what is yours. The president leans forward, eyes dark. How many ships are we talking about? The intelligence officer hesitates. Based on movement patterns and the signal we intercepted after the Dauntless escaped, we estimate. More than 9,000 warships already on the move toward human space. The room falls silent. The president nods slowly. With everything we have, back on the Dauntless, Rourke stands at the viewport staring out at the stars. He doesn't feel relief, it's only the weight of what's coming. He knows the 3 ships that chased them were scouts. The real fleet is still coming, and somewhere, in the darkness, the Zyran Collective is watching. Final cliffhanger moment. The scene shifts back to the debris field above Vega Prime. The 3 alien ships drift silently among the wreckage. Then, in the distance, shapes begin to appear. Dozens, then hundreds. Cloaked, waiting. The screen fades to black. Sound of static returns. And a whisper, we are coming. The sound of heavy gunfire. Screams, explosions. The narrator's voice is sharp, urgent. The Zyrans have landed on Horizon 6. And humanity's war has truly begun. Quick flash of a soldier's helmet cam, alien shapes moving through smoke, red eyes glowing. The feed cuts to black. First 30 seconds full hook. Alarms howl across the colony of Horizon 6. Civilians run through the streets, carrying children, dragging supplies. The sky glows orange as alien landing craft descend through the clouds. Jagged, insect-like vessels that hover for a heartbeat before opening fire. In orbit, the human defense fleet scrambles. Fighters streak toward the planet, their contrails glowing in the sunlight. On the ground, the local garrison takes position, railguns locked on the skies, missile batteries primed. This is no skirmish. This is the first major battle of the war. The Vanguard's fleet drops out of hyperspace above Horizon 6. Rourke stands on the Dauntless's bridge, staring at the chaos below. Alien landing craft pour down toward the surface in swarms. The human defense fleet is already losing ships. The debris of a destroyer drifts past the viewport. Venting fire into space, Admiral Velasquez's voice cuts through the coms. Vanguard ship's priority is to hold orbit and stop reinforcements. Ground forces will repel the landing parties. Let's show them what humanity does when it's cornered. The Dauntless dives into the fight. Railguns hammer. Missiles streak toward alien craft, exploding in bright flashes. Zyran frigates break formation to intercept their strange living hulls, flexing as they absorb fire. The weapons officer swears. They're adapting, just like in the simulations. Rourke's voice is cold, then hit them harder. The Dauntless cuts power to non-essential systems, routing everything to weapons. The next railgun volley punches clean through the nearest frigate. The alien ship splits apart, bleeding red plasma into the void. On the surface, the fight is brutal. Human soldiers in exo-armor hold defensive lines through the streets of Horizon 6's capital. Drones scuttle over walls, their limbs like blades. Each time they're shot, their bodies twitch, then melt into liquid metal that seeps into the ground. Sergeant Kara Voss leads her squad through a collapsed building. Her helmet cam records everything, the feed streaming directly to Command. Command, we've got hostiles breaching Sector 4, she shouts over the roar of gunfire. The street ahead erupts in flame as a Zyran heavy unit lumbers into view, its upper body humanoid, its lower half a tangle of mechanical limbs. It raises an arm and fires a bolt of red energy that disintegrates an entire wall. Voss's squad opens fire. Armor-piercing rounds punch holes into the creature, sparks flying. But it keeps coming. Then the ground shakes, a deep bone rattling. Thud echoes across the street. From above, a Vanguard dropship roars in, unloading a squad of shock troopers in jet black armor. Their heavy rail rifles roar, each shot tearing chunks from the alien. It collapses in a spray of black and red fluid. In orbit, the battle tips. The Vanguard ships push forward, smashing through alien reinforcements. The Dauntless swings low over the surface, providing precision strikes for ground troops. Explosions ripple across the alien landing zones. Enemy reinforcements are pulling back, the comms officer calls. They're retreating to orbit. The science officer's face stays pale. Sir, I'm detecting something strange. A signal. Not a transmission, a pulse. It comes from one of the retreating alien ships and sweeps across the planet. Within seconds, human comes, chatter turns to chaos. Ports flood in, soldiers claiming they're seeing familiar faces. On the ground, Sergeant Voss hears a voice in her headset. It's her brother. He died on Vega Prime. Kara, it's me. Come to me. She freezes. Her squad calls her name, shouting for her to move. Then she sees him standing at the end of the street, smiling. His eyes glow red. The mimic lunges forward. Her squad fires, riddling it with bullets. Its body twists unnaturally before collapsing into liquid metal. The squad is shaken. Voss's breathing is heavy in the comms. That wasn't my brother. That was them. Back on the Dauntless, the science officer speaks quickly. They've taken human DNA from Vega Prime. They can make copies, perfect copies. They're using them to break our lines. Rourke grips the edge of his console. Get that data to High Command. They need to know this now. The battle rages for hours. When the last alien dropship falls, the skies over Horizon 6 clear. Wreckage drifts in orbit. The ground is littered with twisted metal and alien corpses. The victory is real, but so are the losses. Thousands dead, dozens missing. And among the wounded, soldiers speak of voices and faces from their past. That night, the War Council aboard the Solar Wrath, Velasquez addresses the Vanguard. We won today. But the Zyrans showed us their next weapon, our own dead, turned against us. This is more than a war for territory. This is a war for our minds. She turns to Rourke. We need to find where they keep the genetic data. Destroy it. That will be your next mission. The Dauntless crew prepares for departure. As the ship leaves Horizon 6 behind, the comms officer picks up a faint signal. It's the same pulse from before, but this time, there are coordinates hidden in it. Quan, the science officer, decodes them. His voice is tense. Sir, these coordinates are deep in uncharted space. No known colonies, no traffic. Rourke studies the data. Could be a trap. Velasquez's voice comes over the comms. Or it could be the location of a Zyran command ship. Either way you're going. As the Dauntless jumps to hyperspace, the camera pulls back to show a massive Zyran cruiser lurking in the shadows of a nearby moon, its hull pulsing with red light. Inside, a tall biomechanical figure steps forward. Its voice is a whisper. Carried across the void, they will follow. And we will take them. A dark corridor. The sound of footsteps echoing. Flashlight beam cuts through drifting dust. Then, shadow moves against the wall, but there's no one there. The narrator's voice is low, tense. The Dauntless went hunting for the Zyran command ship. But what they found was not a ship at all. First 30 seconds, full hook, the Dauntless emerges from hyperspace into the black silence of an uncharted system. No planets, no asteroid belts. Only a single massive object floating in the void, half hidden in shadow. At first, it looks like a moon. But as the ship draws closer, the crew realizes the truth. It's alive. A colossal organic structure, part metal, part flesh, stretching kilometers across. Pulses of red light travel along its surface like veins under skin, and in the center, a jagged opening, as if inviting them inside. The crew of the Dauntless stares at the view screen. No one speaks for several seconds. Finally, Quan breaks the silence. That's no ship. That's a hive. The captain, Rourke doesn't take his eyes off it. Plot a slow approach, shields up. Weapons hot. The helmsman's voice is tense. Sir, the opening's big enough for us to enter. Rourke frowns. That's the problem. They want us to. As the Dauntless edges closer. Sensors flicker. Energy readings spike and vanish. Spike and vanish. It's as if the hive is watching them. Quan runs another scan. Sir, I'm detecting signals. Same pulse as on Horizon 6. But there's more. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. Velasquez's voice comes from the solar wrath far behind in the system. You are to enter, retrieve any data on their cloning tech, and get out.
Ow.
Do not engage unless you have no choice. The opening yawns before them, a tunnel lined with rib-like arches of bone metal. As the Dauntless slides inside, darkness swallows the ship, only faint. Glowing veins on the walls give light. The crew goes silent, listening to the hum of the engines and the faint heartbeat. Deeper inside, the walls shift. Not much, just enough for the crew to notice. It's as if the hive is breathing. Weapons Officer Grant mutters, feels like we're inside a throat. No one laughs. The Dauntless reaches a vast inner chamber. It's like an ocean of black liquid metal, stretching in all directions. Floating above it are hundreds of pods, each translucent, each containing something. Quan's voice is a whisper. They're human. Rourke grips the console. Are they alive? Quan shakes his head slowly. No, not alive. But not dead either. Suspended. Perfectly preserved. One pod drifts closer to the Dauntless, bumping against the hull. Inside, a man floats, his eyes open, staring straight ahead. His face is familiar. It's Rourke. The bridge freezes. Grant swears. Quan's hands tremble over his controls. Rourke forces his voice to stay steady. Destroy it now. A railgun volley shatters the pod, spilling the clone into the black liquid. The hive reacts instantly. The walls shudder. The glowing veins pulse faster. Quan's console screams with alerts. Sir, power readings just spiked. They're waking something up. The black ocean ripples. Something massive rises from its depths. First one limb, then another, each ending in jagged claws. A towering figure emerges, its body a twisted blend of alien and human features. Its face shifts, cycling through. The features of dozens of people, men, women, soldiers, civilians. The voice that follows is layered, male, female, human, alien, all at once. Welcome, Dauntless. We have been expecting you. Rourke stands, glaring at the thing. What are you? The creature tilts its head. We are what remains, and what will be. You will join us. It lifts one clawed hand, and instantly, the ship's systems flicker, the lights dim, engines drop to idle, weapons go offline. Grant pounds the console. They've locked us out. Quan's voice is panicked. They're inside our systems, every circuit, every control. If they get to the core, a deep rumble shakes the chamber. Pods begin to lower toward the liquid metal. Inside each, a figure starts to twitch. Then move. Clones. Hundreds of them. Rourke makes his decision fast. Engineering, prep the overload charge. If we can't get out, we're taking this whole place with us. Velasquez's voice bursts over the comms. Rourke, get out of there now. The solar wrath is reading a massive energy surge inside that hive. The creature laughs, a sound that seems to come from the walls themselves. Leave. Can? The helm officer shouts. Sir, the tunnel's closing. On the view screen, the entrance they came through is sealing shut. Rib-like arches folding in on themselves. Rourke's voice is steel. Full power to engines punches through. The Dauntless roars forward, scraping against the closing walls. Sparks shower the bridge. The ship bursts out into open space, trailing black liquid that clings to the hull like tar. But the escape isn't clean. Quan's console flashes with red alerts. Sir, something came with us. It's in the systems. Inside the hive, the towering creature watches them go.
Ah!
It turns its head slowly, as if looking straight through the void. Run, little. Humans, you carry us with you now. In the Dauntless's engine room, deep in the shadows, a drop of black liquid slides across the floor. It flows into a control panel and vanishes. The hum of the ship changes, almost too faint to notice. The voice of the narrator is low, steady, filled with weight. 9,000 alien warships are coming for Earth. Then the sound of a single heartbeat. It speeds up. A massive space dock fills the screen, glowing with activity. And the camera pulls back to reveal a fleet. Hundreds of ships still being built. First, 30 seconds full hook. The Terran Union's war factories thunder day and night. Sparks shower from construction scaffolds. Engines roar as new warships slide into the void. Workers in exosuits weld armor plating the size of city blocks. A broadcast cuts through the noise. A woman's voice, calm, unshaken. It's the president of the Terran Union. Her image appears on every screen, every ship, every station across human space. Vega Prime has fallen. 32 million souls gone. The enemy is real. The enemy is coming. And humanity will not run. She steps back, revealing the massive shipyard behind her. One warship, nearly 2 kilometers long, looms above. The camera, its hull painted jet black with the name Iron Resolve. We will answer with everything we have. Today we begin the largest fleet build in human history, 700,000 ships. Every hand, every heart, every voice. This is our war cry. Crowds cheer. In orbit, ships fire thruster flares and salute. In mining colonies, drill operators slam controls and work faster. In the outer settlements, families volunteer together. The war has begun. On the Dauntless, Commander Rourke watches the speech from the bridge. His crew is silent, eyes fixed on the feed. When it ends, he turns to them. Orders just came through. We're being recalled to Earth. We'll be part of the Vanguard. The weapons officer frowns. The Vanguard thought that was just a rumor. Rourke shakes his head. Not anymore. The Vanguard will be the spear. We're going to find their home and burn it to the ground. The Vanguard is unlike anything in human history. A hand-picked strike force. The best ships, the best crews, the most advanced weapons. Their mission isn't just to defend. It's to take the fight into enemy space. 2 weeks later, the Dauntless arrives in orbit above Mars. The sight takes their breath away. Where the dusty red world once turned in silence, it now gleams with steel orbital rings packed with construction yards. Hundreds of half-built warships suspended in cradles. Fighter squadrons weave between them like flocks of birds. Freighters line up for kilometers, unloading weapons, fuel, and armor. Rourke steps off the Dauntless into the command deck of the Vanguard. The flagship Solar Wrath dominates the dock. A warship so vast its hull curves out of sight, bristling with railgun batteries and missile pods. Its engines alone are the size of city towers. Inside, the crew of the Vanguard is briefed. Admiral Yar Velasquez, tall, sharp-eyed, voice like steel, addresses them. The enemy is called the Zyran Collective Machine. Bound together in ways we don't yet understand, they take the bodies of those they kill and use them against us. We will take this fight to them before they reach Earth. We will hunt, and we will kill. Her gaze sweeps the room. You have all been chosen because you do not break. When we find the hive, we will burn it. No prisoners, no mercy. Briefing ends. Rourke meets with his crew in the mess hall. They sit at a small table, the hum of the ship around them. The science officer, Lieutenant Kwan, leans in. "Sir, what if they're not just invaders? What if they're something bigger, something ancient?" Rourke stares into his drink. "I don't care if they're gods. They killed Vega Prime. That's all I need to know." Days pass. Vanguard trains relentlessly. Simulated battles against Zyran tactics. Drills for zero-G boarding actions. Weapon tests push railguns to their limits. But even as the training continues, reports trickle in from the frontier. Whispers, ships going missing, colonies falling silent. Not from fleets, but from infiltrators. On the 5th day, the Dauntless is called to a secure meeting. Inside, Admiral Velasquez stands with 2 intelligence officers. She brings up a hologram, grainy footage from a mining colony called Helix 4, humans, walking down a street. Their faces blank, movements stiff. They turn toward the camera, and their eyes flash bright red. "These are Zyran infiltrators," Velasquez says. "They are already here. They are blending in with us. We don't yet know how many or where." Rourke feels a cold weight in his chest. If the Zyrans could wear human faces, then nowhere was safe. That night, Rourke stands at the viewport. Of his quarters, the stars drift slowly past. In the reflection, he sees his own face, tired, lined, and older than it should be. He wonders how many more faces he will see before this is over, and how many will still be human. The call comes at 0300 hours. Scout frigate Arrowhead has intercepted a Zyran signal. It's encrypted, short. But one word stands out in the translation: Seed. Velasquez orders immediate pursuit. The Vanguard surges into deep space. Engines burn white-hot. Thousands of ships move as one. Hours later, they reach the coordinates, a barren, frozen moon orbiting a dying star. Nothing on sensors, no ships, no structures, but beneath the ice, the scans reveal something massive. A living structure, its tendrils wrapped around the moon's core. The Dauntless deploys a recon team. They descend through ice tunnels. There, lights cutting through the darkness. Frost crunches under their boots. The air is thin, cold enough to bite through their armor. At the tunnel's end, they find it. A chamber. Walls pulsating like veins, glowing faint red. Pods hang from the ceiling, each one holding a still human figure. Some are fresh, others long dead, their faces pale but intact. One pod cracks open as they approach. A figure steps out, a man in miner's gear. His eyes flash red. His voice is calm. "You cannot stop the hive." He lunges. The recon team opens fire. The man falls, and his body splits open, revealing machinery under the skin. Back aboard. The Dauntless, the science team, analyzes the data. The structure beneath the moon isn't just a base. It's a seed, a Zyran growth node designed to spread their presence into new territory. Velasquez's voice is grim. "They're planting these everywhere, turning our worlds into... We destroy this one, but there will be more." The fleet prepares charges. As they leave the moon's surface, explosions tear through the ice, fire blooming into the thin atmosphere. The seed burns. The hive loses one more foothold. But Rourke knows it's not enough. In the war room aboard the Solar Wrath, Velasquez gathers her captains. A star map lights up human space on one side, Zyran territory on the other. Between them, nothing but uncharted void. "We've found a path," she says. "A hidden hyperspace corridor. It will take us deep into enemy space. If we can find their homeworld, Hive Prime, and kill whatever controls them, we end this war before it reaches Earth." She looks to Rourke. The Dauntless will lead the way. The meeting ends. The crews return to their ships. Engines hum as the fleet lines up for the jump. Da-da-da. In the silence before the order, Rourke feels the weight of history pressing on his shoulders. He knows they're crossing a line tonight. Once they enter that corridor, there's no turning back. The final shot shows the Vanguard's massive fleet stretching across the darkness like a wall of steel. The stars ahead seem to twist and ripple the mouth of the hyperspace corridor. Velasquez's Voice echoes over the comms. This is our war cry. For Vega Prime. For humanity. We go to end them. The fleet surges forward. The darkness swallows them whole. Darkness. Only the sound of breathing. Heavy, uneven. A flashlight turns on, the beam shaking. Catches a smear of something black on the bulkhead. It moves first. 30 seconds full hook. The Dauntless is quiet now. Too quiet. The crew doesn't talk much. They don't joke. They'll barely look at each other. Since leaving the hive, something's been wrong. Started small, a flicker in the lights, a hum in the walls. But then, crew members began hearing. Voices that shouldn't be there. Voices of people who weren't on the ship. The bridge feels colder than it should. Captain Rourke sits in the command chair watching the status screens. Everything looks normal. But at IS in single quotes, Taquan approaches, quietly. Sir, the black residue from the hull? It's inside the ship. We found more in engineering and in the air vents. Rourke's jaw tightens. Burn it off. Quan hesitates. That's the problem. It doesn't burn. Hall, 2 crewmen are arguing. One swears he saw someone standing in the corridor at 0300 hours. A tall figure, pale, with no eyes. The other swears there was nothing there. Later, security footage shows the corridor. But for one frame, just one, there's a shape in the corner. Watching at night cycle, Rourke dreams of the hive. He's standing inside it again, the black ocean before him. Pods float overhead. One drops down, and inside it he sees himself, smiling. He wakes in his quarters, sweating. The hum in the walls is louder now. Engineering reports another problem. Systems are shutting down for no reason. Life support fluctuates. Doors open and close by themselves. The chief engineer swears someone's been tampering with the controls. But the security logs show nothing. Then, in the background of the logs, barely visible, a dark shape moves past the camera. On the second day, the first death happens. Crewman Hale is found in a maintenance shaft. No wounds, no blood, just gone. Eyes open, staring at nothing. A faint trace of black liquid on his lips. Quan bursts into Rourke's quarters. Sir, I think it's copying us. Rourke frowns. What? The residue. It's learning. Every time it touches something, a console, a tool, a person, it remembers. It's making versions of us. That night in the dim corridor, Weapons Officer Grant sees someone ahead, Quan. Grant calls his name. Quan turns. His eyes are black dot. Grant blinks, and Quan is gone. The next morning, the real Quan doesn't remember leaving his quarters. Crew starts keeping their doors locked. But sometimes, the locks open on their own. Rourke orders a full sweep. Of the ship, teams move through every deck, checking every compartment. In the cargo bay, one team finds something. Wrong. A section of the floor isn't metal anymore. It's soft. When they cut into it, black liquid seeps out, and something inside moves. The hum in the walls becomes a whisper. Sometimes it sounds like words. Sometimes it's in English. Sometimes it's not. One whisper keeps coming back. Open the doors. Quan corners Rourke in the bridge. Sir, if we take this thing back to human space, it could spread. Can't risk it. Rourke knows he's right. But there's still days from rendezvous with the solar wrath. And the residue is spreading faster. Late in the night cycle, Rourke wakes to a faint tapping. He turns his head and sees his own reflection in the viewport glass. Only it's not copying him. It's smiling. The ship's AI begins to fail. Voices come through, the comes sometimes sounding like crew members, sometimes like strangers. One voice calls Rourke by his childhood nickname, something no one on board should know. Quan's scans show the residue is now in the Dauntless's water and air systems. If it's alive, it's already inside them all. The captain makes the call. All hands prepare for emergency rendezvous with Solar Wrath. If we can't get this thing off our ship, we scuttle the Dauntless. But as the order goes out, the lights die. Total darkness swallows the ship. Only the whispers remain. Somewhere in the dark, something moves. 009, a voice. Urgent, desperate. This is the Dauntless. Do not approach. We are static. First 30 seconds hook. The distress call keeps repeating. The signal is broken, but the voice changes each time. Sometimes it's Captain Rourke. Sometimes it's Quan. Sometimes it's someone who isn't human. 042, red emergency lights flash through the bridge. The Dauntless is bleeding power. Systems offline. Air pressure dropping. Quan's voice cuts through the noise. We've got 12 minutes before life support fails. A real-time tension begins 12 o'clock. Rourke orders a split. Half the crew to engineering to try to restore life support. The rest to weapons control to prep the self-destruct. The black residue pulses in the walls now, like veins under skin. When they cut it, it bleeds. The blood moves uphill. T-1030 in engineering, sparks rain down as they rip panels open. The residue has fused with the wiring. Every time they pull it out, it grows back. T-915 Quan reaches weapons control. The self-destruct panel is locked out not by the ship's AI, but by something else. A new interface. Alien symbols crawling across the display. He tries to override the panel pulses under his hands, like it's breathing. T-820 on the bridge, a voice comes over. Comes, Captain. Open the airlocks. They want to talk. It's Hale. Hale has been dead for 2 days. T-745, the lights die. Total black, only the sound of the hull groaning. Flashlights flicker on in shadows, move where no one's standing. T-6 o'clock Quan. Cuts into the weapons control wiring. The alien symbols vanish, replaced by the self-destruct timer. But before he can start it, something grabs his wrist. It's Quan. Another Quan. Its skin is too smooth. It smiled too wide. TI-530 gunfire in the dark. The fake Quan collapses, but its body breaks apart into black liquid, scattering into the vents. T-420 engineering reports total failure. Life support gone. They are running out. Rourke makes the call. No rescue, we finish it here. At T-310, they set the self-destruct. 3 minutes. The hum in the walls becomes a roar. 2 o'clock, the ships comes light up with hundreds of voices, crew members, family, friends, all saying the same words. Don't do this, Rourke. T-110, the black residue floods the bridge. It takes shape, human shapes all wearing the faces of his crew. Rourke fires. The shapes burst, splattering the walls. T-040 Quan is at the escape pod hatch. Rourke shakes his head. No time, no one leaves. T-015 Rourke sends the final transmission. This is the Dauntless. Tell command. Burn Vega Prime. Burn it all. T-05 the residue lunges. The bridge goes black. T-0 o'clock light. Silence. The Dauntless is gone, eh? Listening post far from Vega picks up a faint signal. It's the Dauntless, and it's calling for docking clearance. The dark between stars is broken by light. 700,000 human warships appear in unison, like a wall of fire. First 30 seconds hook, Admiral Kessler stands on the bridge of the Titanus Rex, staring at Vega Prime on the main screen. The planet is still burning, even in the cold of space. Burn them back, she says. Every last one, as the order is given. The sky lights up. The final war begins. Feed 1. Fleet Command massive dreadnoughts form the spearhead. Rows of destroyers and carriers fan out. Missiles arc across space in perfect lines. The Titanus Rex shakes with the recoil of her main cannons. A voice from tactical targets confirmed. But Admiral, they look like our ships. Feed 2. The fighter pilot Lieutenant Marin drops into atmosphere. Her HUD fills with targets, thousands of small craft rising from Vega's surface. She locks on and freezes. They are human ships, old designs. Colony defense craft, decades out of service. But they're wrong. Their hulls pulse like veins. Their cockpits are filled with black liquid. Feed 3, the third voice they do not know yet. That every shot they fire only feeds us. That the fire they bring will be the fire that consumes them. The battle turns, the fleet unleashes its fury. Railguns, plasma, nuclear torpedoes. Vega's surface tears open in molten rivers. But from those wounds, more ships rise. They climb into space on wings of black. Residue, their hulls dripping into the void like ink in water. Feed 1 command, tactical report. We're surrounded. Kessler watches the tactical map turn red. Every ship that goes down, human or alien, comes back. Change. Feed 2. The fighter pilot Marin dives between burning frigates. Her wingman screams overcomes. Something is in his cockpit. The cuts. She looks to her left. His fighter is now flying beside her, and his canopy is filled with shadow. Feed 3. The third voice. They came with their fury. They will leave with silence. The last stand. Kessler gives the order. All ships. Final volley. Don't stop until we're gone. The fleet erupts. Stars themselves seem to burn. The void becomes white with the light of detonations. One by one, the ships vanish in fire, but the light fades when the glare dies. The battlefield is quiet. Vega Prime still burns. The black shapes drift, then turn toward Earth. Final feed. The third voice and. So, the last roar of humanity fades. But their fire will be ours forever. The end.